Hey, welcome back to the channel. It's Chad here. Hey, I want to do a quick intro to this video. We'll be featuring the BassQuatch Hunter, who is Mike McKinstry, has his channel on Discovery and YouTube. Great kayak fisherman. Reason I want to do the intro is I didn't quite catch the beginning of the seminar. I kind of caught somewhere in the middle, but I got a lot of good information, caught most of it. I think you're going to enjoy it anyway. So hope you really do like the video. If you do, please like and subscribe. Got a lot more coming. Enjoy the channel. Enjoy the show. Thanks for watching.
What do you do when you cut your bait off? What do you usually do with it? Do you put it back neatly in your tackle box, or do you throw it on the floor? Throw it on the floor, right?
Yep.
You're supposed to put it back. None of us put it back. I wish we did, trust me, because I go back to the dock with like a footwell full of random hooks and baits, and usually you get one on the foot in your shoe and you lose them over the side, and then they stay in there and get rusty for a week or two. This right here, this mount is also track mountable, so you can mount it in these tracks right here, and I can snap it right next to me. So I started using these for my throwaway bait, so at the end of the day, I put this in my truck or my garage or my truck or my trailer, and then I can go through it whenever I want to. Now it's no longer in my kayak, because like I mentioned earlier, real estate in a kayak is extremely expensive. There's not a lot of it. So that being said, my fish finder. Does anybody have a fish finder on their kayaks? Do you guys have them hard mounted, like wired?
Nope.
Do you have yours hardwired?
Portable.
So I have two other kayaks that are hardwired fish finders. The only reason why I don't like that is I had to mount one of them way up here because I have a pedal drive in that one. I can't reach it. I'm short. I have to stand up, lean over weird, and try to like hit waypoints or whatever I'm doing. That became a pain in the butt. But it's a 9-inch screen, so I can see it from far away, but it's hard to reach. The other bad part is I have 6 kayaks total. If I want to switch fish finders, I have to buy a second transducer, second power lines, drill holes. I have to pretty much hard mount another setup without the screen, and then just swap screens. So what I started doing this year, this is new this year for me, is this right here is called a cell block from Yak Attack, and this is called a switchblade transducer arm. So I started doing this on all my kayaks now because I can put a fish finder on the box. The transducer is built into the box right here, the arm, and then there's a 20 amp hour battery. If I slide this door open, there's a 20 amp hour battery right there too. And it's all on a quick disconnect, so I can pull the battery out with one pull and go charge it in the house and put it back in. So now when I want to switch fish finders, it's 2 thumb screws in the track, and it goes on any kayak I have. So I can use one unit on every kayak, or I can have one with this, one with the bigger one, put it anywhere I want. No more drilling, no more hardwiring stuff, no more multiple transducer mounts. Literally night and day game changer for me. The only thing is you'll notice the track right here, I have a pedal drive right here, so when I'm pedaling, you gotta make sure you're not kicking it. So that's why it's cool, like remember how I mentioned you could turn the rod holder? I can turn this in and rotate that whenever I want, and it's not unlocked, it just rotates. Or I can unlock it and take it off. So those quick disconnects are really cool, and also, if I don't have a fish finder with me, I have a GoPro mount. Or if I don't have a fish finder with me, I have another rod holder. So that's what's so cool about interchanging accessories like that. Now, do you guys all have sit on top kayaks like this one? Oh, they all sit on tops? So sit on tops will always have track built into them already, but you can add more. So this track system is right here on the front and in the back. You can put any accessory you want on them, and what's really cool, I can't move this too much, but if you loosen up the thumb screw on there, you can slide it back and forth. And it's not unlocked, it's still locked in, but I can slide it back and forth. So mounting anything to the tracks is incredibly useful. And you can always add tracks. I have kayaks that have extra tracks next to the seat, so I can put a cup holder next to me. I have tracks on the front for GoPro mounts. You can add tracks to anything, and that's kind of the cool part about them, and then every accessory fits them. How am I doing on time here? 7 minutes, that's awesome. So what other accessory did I miss on here? Oh, the GoPro mount. I didn't even talk about that really. So the GoPro mount, does anybody film when they fish too?
Yeah.
A couple little bit. So when I started filming, it wasn't for my show, it wasn't for my YouTube. It was because I was afraid something was gonna happen and nobody would believe me. And whether it's catching a huge fish, losing a huge fish, or falling out of my kayak, either way, having video proof of it is incredible. Plus, you never know if you run into like a deer drinking out of the lake in front of you. In a kayak, you get to be really close to nature. I've had ducks jump in my kayak before and they wouldn't leave, and I had it on GoPro, and then nobody believed me. I'm like, no, watch, and I pull it up and show it to them. So GoPro mounts became a tool to me, not just for my show or for YouTube or for social media, but just to kind of show my buddies how cool kayak fishing really was. Like, no, check this out, look where I got to go. There's a little tunnel that nobody's probably ever been in 55 years, and my kayak fit through there, and I get to show them on the footage. So this is called a panfish portrait mount. This is the shorter mount, but it has this little foam here, so it floats. You know how I mentioned if it doesn't float, if it's not tied down, prepare to donate to the lake? I've got a lake by my house with 3 GoPros in it. So now they all go on these mounts. Because after 1, you'd think I'd learn, right? After 2, you'd think I'm pretty stupid. My 3rd one went in and I started putting them all on mounts now. So you can use this mount on your kayak like this, obviously, or you can use it like a monopod like this. But either way, it floats. So either way, it's the smartest thing I ever did.
Even with the GoPro attached?
Yes. But I also learned this the hard way. If you have any mods on the GoPro, like the microphone mod or the light mod, it's no longer waterproof. So even if it floats, I did that once, and I stopped putting mods on my GoPros. So even my wireless microphones, so they're not waterproof. So if you put them on the GoPro, you're like, oh, it's fine. It's not. So any attachments won't be waterproof, but it will float with the GoPro, but not with any attachments. They also make 3 other sizes of these mounts too. So sometimes I'll put a taller mount in the back right here that'll stick up over my shoulder. Sometimes I'll have that one angled backwards so you can see the entire kayak in my GoPro view. Or my other kayak has a mount right in the front right here. There's like a little flat circle right there. I have another mount right there to show this whole angle. Only because if you get a huge muskie or pike or something like a 60-inch salmon, something massive, I want to show the wide angle, show the whole thing. So the GoPro mounts are really important. So here's another funny story. I got enough time. So I don't know if anyone's done this or if I'm the only dumb one here, but I had a time, I'm left-handed, so all my accessories are on the right side of my kayak that stick up because I can cast over this, no problem. Make sure I don't hit you, sorry. I can cast over this, no problem. But I can't land a fish over here, and I sure as heck am not gonna fight a fish right here either, because as soon as it wraps around something, you're doing that weird chaos dance where you're dropping something or breaking something, or your pride's gonna get hurt at the least. So my left side is all open over here for that reason. All my fish get landed on my left side. If it's on the right side, I'll pull right around the front to my left side, no matter what, always on the left. That way there's no issue with landing them, nothing snags anything. My net won't snag anything, because this is another, if you do it long enough, you'll do this too. You do one of these things or one of these things, or all those hooks that you put by your feet end up in the bottom of your net too. So I don't want to do this little dance and try to get a fish and lose them. So everything over here is wide open. It's really, really easy. I don't have to worry about doing that chaos dance and losing stuff. So my pliers go on my left side because my right hand is holding the fishing rod while I'm landing on my left, right? I switched hands one day, and I have this on camera because another reason why the GoPro is important, because I tell people how dumb I am sometimes, and they don't believe it because it sounds so ridiculous. I switched hands one day, had my fish in my left hand, put my pliers in my right hand, and guess what I threw back in the water? It wasn't the fish. My pliers went like this. And then I was holding the fish still, and I was like, where did those pliers go? I have a hook in it still. And I couldn't find them. They were on the bottom of the lake. Because at the time, I didn't have my rule of tying everything down. Now they're on a retractable tether and a secondary tether, so they go under my seat, so they're out of the way. But then when I want to pull them out, they retract. So now if I ever do anything stupid like that again, where I'm like, oh, I'm going to release my pliers, now they're attached. So like I said, if it's not tied down, it's like going to the casino with $50. You have to assume you're donating it, right? You can't expect to leave with it. Anything on my kayak, I expect to leave on the water when I leave, because I've done it enough times. Fish finders, rods, even my accessories. If they're not tied in, like every day I go through and make sure everything's tight, because I know what'll happen if I don't. I know I'll end up on the bottom of the lake. Even my fish grips here, these float. If they didn't, I wouldn't have them anymore. Everything else on here literally is either tied down, floats, or willing to donate. I've had a lot of phones go down. So does anyone have any questions on the accessories, the rigging, or the kayak at all? If there's no questions, that means I either did a really good job or nobody wants to ask the first question. There's one.
Where do you put what's the best position to put your trolling motor at?
So he asked the best position to put a trolling motor. So every kayak is different for trolling motors. My easy answer is actually, surprisingly, it's right here. It's called Yak Gadget. They make mounts for every kayak for trolling motors. So you can put them on the front, the back, or if there's a spot for a pedal drive, they make a mount that fits in there too. So you can put like a regular transom mount trolling motor anywhere. In a kayak, you have to remember how it's positioned. All the weight is supposed to be centered right here. So if you put a trolling motor in the front and you have a battery up here even, your kayak's gonna be completely off balance thrown like this. You put a motor in the back with the battery in the back, your kayak's gonna sit like this. So when you're positioning all your stuff for a trolling motor, one of my kayaks has a trolling motor in the middle. That's where the pedal drive is, so the motor's right there. I have another one that's got one in the back, but I use a lithium battery that's super light, and it goes right behind the seat right here. That way it keeps that center of balance right there. I don't like trolling motors on the front of kayaks only because if you come up across an obstacle, you won't see it before your motor does. I like trolling motors in the middle or in the back because I see stumps or weed beds or whatever I'm going to hit before my motor does. One thing, and if Gene's around here, Gene Jensen will tell you, if you're, Gene, there you are, when you're standing up, what happens when you hit something in a trolling motor? Forward. Yeah, you keep going. Gene's done it. Is it on video too? Yeah, that's on video where you can see his feet just go past the camera. So I like the trolling motor to be in the middle or the back just for sight purposes. But then you got to worry about the balance part. So if you're using like a lead acid battery, a really heavy battery, you don't want to put that in the front. You want to make sure that's positioned in the middle somewhere. But every kayak's different. So it depends how your kayak's set up to. Some kayaks, like the one Gene uses, which is over here in the pool, has mounts on the back for a motor already. There's already pre-made spots for mounts for motors. So every kayak's completely different for it. Hopefully that confusing answer helped you. Is there any other questions? And if anyone wants to see this kayak or touch it or feel it or come up and ask questions face to face, you can walk up here and check it out too, or I'll be at my booth right here the rest of the day. But I do want to remind you guys too, at 2:30 in 1 hour, we have a really cool seminar at the very back by the tank over there. It's called Ask the Pros. It's myself, Gene Jensen, Alex Rudd, and Drew Gregory, all at a table answering questions, having conversations, sharing our stories. It's a really cool seminar. It's a lot of fun. I also got some kids rod setups and adult rod combos, brand new stuff we're handing out for free over there, and some of my children's books. So if anything, come buy some free stuff. But now here's the test part. We got to see how good you guys paid attention really quick. And if you guys get the questions right, we have some Berkeley power bait and some spinner baits to hand out to see if you guys paid attention or not. And I know it's a Sunday, I know we're a little bit tired, it's been a long weekend, but if anyone wins, a little bit of enthusiasm, a little bit. We can wake up a little bit here. We're all having fun at a fishing show. So first question, super easy. Does anyone remember the name of my TV show? The booth is right next to me, to my left. Yeah, how'd you know? There it is, BassQuatch Hunter, Fish Out of Water is the name of the show. I'm gonna throw this over your head, sorry. There we go, good catch. All right, hey, there it is. Someone won something. Woo! All right, we can wake up. It's okay. We're gonna give away the Berkeley General Green Pumpkins next. These are one of my favorite baits, favorite colors too. And yeah, see, I love these baits. And it's max scent, so I will warn you, if you open this in here, you're gonna smell like this for about 4 days. You're not gonna know where the smell is coming from. It's your skin. This stuff smells terrible to humans, amazing to fish. Just like bad weather. I always say if it's bad for fishermen, it's great for fish. These are awesome for fish. So second question, does anyone remember the length of this kayak?
10.5.
Both of you got it, so I'm gonna give away 2 of these.
Thank you, sir.
There you go. And you're wearing a Berkeley shirt, it was like meant to be. Look at that.
You're right, this is the best lure you can get.
It is. All right, so we're giving away the compact spinnerbait next. Now the reason why I use compact spinnerbaits is I fish a lot of smallmouth fisheries up in Michigan. That's where I'm from. The compact ones are literally candy to smallmouth bass because they see the small compact meal. They don't have to really work as hard to eat it because they have smaller mouths, and the compact ones are killer. This color, actually, I didn't mean to grab this one. This is called Pretty One. This is the bluegill color that I destroy smallmouth bass on in clear water. In rivers, if it's clear, this is literally one of the best colors to possibly use. So we'll make this one a little bit tougher. What was the most important accessory I put in my kayak? Raise hands. There you go, rod. There we go, rod holder. There we go.
I was gonna say.
Boom! Get out of there. All right, you want a bait? Yeah. All right, we can be excited. So if you guys want to come check out the next seminar at 2:30 over there, where we do Ask the Pros. We have some rods to hand out, a lot of great information from some great anglers too. It'll be a lot of fun. But thank you guys for hanging out and checking everything out. Make sure you stop by the booth over here, get info on the show, and if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them afterwards. So thank you guys very much for coming to the seminar. Round of applause for everyone here. I'm gonna make everyone clap somehow. Everyone's gotta be enthusiastic here. We're at a fishing show, guys. We're not at work.
All right.